This is Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Ag Update. With the markets closed yesterday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day and no overnight trade, there's very little to talk about this morning, although the early calls all seem to indicate that grains could open 1 to 3 cents lower. Really a lack of fresh news in the corn here in the recent days. The good news is that last week's ethanol production gave us the highest production rate for the marketing year. The bad news is that net ethanol margins were 2 cents lower last week and are now at a negative 11 cents per bushel. It is worth noting that U.S. corn coming out of the Pacific Northwest is competitive into Asia, so hopefully this week will bring some more news of potential Chinese purchases. In the world of soybeans, all eyes are on China. The Chinese Customs Vice Minister stated that Chinese imports of U.S. soybeans and pork rebounded in November and December, with December imports of soybeans being the highest levels that we've seen since May of 2018. Chinese soybean imports for 2019 total came in at 88.51 million metric tons, compared to 88.03 million metric tons in 2018. A Chinese agricultural ministry official stated that Chinese imports of soybeans will rise in 2020. And although the African swine fever curbed soybean demand, there are measures in place to boost pig production in China. Beans from Brazil to China are 15 cents a bushel cheaper than U.S. beans, so it's going to be a very tough, competitive market. Looking at South America, I also see that rains in northern Brazil and northern Argentina will continue for the next 6 to 10 days, which will further improve soil conditions in those growing areas. However, more rainfall is needed to completely end the dryness in those regions. Wheat is really kind of the ultimate worldwide crop, and lately the EU and the former Soviet Union countries have been getting a lot of attention from the marketplace. With that in mind, it's worth noting that the Russian agricultural consultancy ICAR cut its 2019-20 wheat export forecast to 33.5 million metric tons. That was down from the previous forecast of 35 million. Strategic Grains also cut their 2020 EU soft wheat crop forecast from 140.5 million metric tons to 139.8 million. At the same time, though, they raised their 2019-20 EU soft wheat export projections from 28.7 million to 30.5 million metric tons. We have really limited news in the livestock market today, but production issues still create headlines. We had a case of H5N8 bird flu that's been reported in northwestern Hungary, and as a result, they had to kill 50,000 turkeys. China, of course, is still the poster child for health-related production problems when it comes to livestock. Official data shows that China's pork production for 2019 was at a 16-year low due to the African swine fever. The output data came out at 42.55 million metric tons, and that's down 21.3% from what was produced in 2018. Now, that has led to opportunities for hog producers around the world, with Chinese customs data showing that they imported 375,000 tons of pork in December versus just 95,384 tons in December of 2018. Currently, obviously, great demand in China. It'll be really interesting to see how that whole Chinese story unfolds now that the Phase 1 agreement has been signed. This has been Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Ag Update. We'll be right back with more financial issues after this.